This is Street Topics, where we keep it raw and unfiltered. We talk about the topics that you are afraid to, but we are not. You got myself, Jasim, and then of course the one and only Donald Baker. He may make you mad or he may have you laughing. It's depending on how the mood you feel. Regardless, we're going to keep it true, get the facts, and keep it controversial. Are you ready for this episode of Street Topics? Stay tuned, y'all.
What up, what up, what up? It's another episode of Street Topics. It's your host, as always, C. Holmes in the building, bringing you raw topics. And you know, it is election day. And you know, people are out there voting and having the debates and much more. And we're talking about the political stuff in there. But you know, I can't hit this podcast by myself. I got to come with the person in the trenches. He's throwing grenades, haymakers. He gonna hit you with, you know, he ain't got no damn sense. He has, and they're always calling me grasshopper. We're talking about the one and only Jasim. How you feeling, brother?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Let's go ahead and get down and dirty in the trenches.
Hey, that's what I like about that, because I know you ain't gonna hold back. You're gonna come in raw, real, and let the people know how you feel, whether they like it or not. Man, but let's kind of, you know, he said, like, and I've been trying to say this. That's what that was. But before we dive in specifically, like in these still little bit of points and much more, like, what do you think is the climate in Houston right now in Houston when it comes to election? Because we know today's election day. What do you think the climate is?
I think the climate in Houston per se is completely different. And when I mean different, it's because you have a lot of people that are going through a lot of trials and tribulation regarding the bull crap that's taking place by politicians. And you know, as Baker would say, there's 3 P's that you don't trust: pastors, pimps, and politicians.
That's a hard swallow for a lot of people, because you know we're so used to putting deep trust into them, and you know they got that political game going on, and they can pull that card real quick,
and they do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, all the time. This ain't nothing new. I mean, it's been going since the sunrise to the sunset. It's been going on even before I was even here. That's how long it's been going on.
Exactly.
But like, when it comes to, let me see, because you had a point that you brought up a little earlier, like things have changed. Like, what do you mean by that? Because I didn't want to miss that. What do you mean by things have changed?
Things change far as the type of people that are in office right now. They're more about power and control, and those power and control individuals that are so greedy are politicians that are influenced by the 1% of the wealth, or in other words, the wealthy people. And they're the ones that are buying up, let's say, APAC. You know, let's use them for an example. And that's the lobbyists for Israel. And what they end up doing is they go and they lobby and they give all this money out to these candidates and presidents and politicians running for office. So then that way they can have everything geared towards them in regards to Israel and what they're doing and here. So if you notice, you can always talk about every other race or every other individual, but as soon as you bring up something negative that, you know, people that are Jewish, they get in an uproar. Then they want to quickly
real quick too.
They quick to say that you anti-Semitism. Now, how can you be anti-Semitism, which that word was created by a white guy, when you look at the meaning of Semitism, it's part of North Africa. So how can one be talking about our own in the way or in a fashion that they try to make it out to be? It's like when they do evil, they don't want to be caught off on their evil. So that's,
or in other words, caught on their bullshit.
Right.
As you like to say real quick.
This is why I'm saying that we keep electing politicians that really have the best storyline that is nothing but a bunch of lies and a bunch of BS. And so we keep voting thinking that there's going to be a change. So, as they say, this is insanity. You keep doing the same thing over and
over
over
and over
again,
again.
but expecting something different. Well, how long you gonna keep expecting something different
Sounds
and you see
crazy.
there's nothing is gonna change?
That sounds crazy. But people do it, and people love a good storyline. We all see the campaigns that be like, I will change America. I have been through this, the farmers and all that, and it's like this nice, uplifting thing, the music and everything, the sound bites and much more. You're like, oh, I like that bitch. I'm gonna vote for him. And then when you take the time out to do some research of this person's background, he or she made, and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't think you did that, but there's no way. I mean, you didn't sound like that in the commercial, but you were tied to this organization. But like, wait, but you actually did that with that person. So
Mhm.
people, I mean, when it comes to politics, oh yeah, they quick to pull that.
Well, the
It's like a
problem,
mark.
I've always stated, being straight up, I've always made this comment. People do not read and do the research. They are so lazy. American
They
people are
don't
so
read.
lazy. They want to go off what they hear and not what they actually read and validate the information that they read to know whether or not it is facts or if it's fake. And so this is where the confusion comes in, is because individuals depend upon other people to tell them something. And usually that's the blind leading the blind. And both blind folks leading each other is leading another blind folks. That makes you look like a fool.
Nah, I wouldn't say a fool. I say a damn fool.
Hey, it is what it is. To me, it's a fool to even think that if I keep doing something, that is gonna change. You're not anyone special. Only thing that can change is you in the way you think and how you approach situations, or change your habits, or change your thinking and open your mind to the truth and not the lies. Because American people are used to being lied to. That's why we're always caught with our pants down, because
Not the
we
the
are a
pants down. The
reactive
pants
country.
down.
We have never been a proactive country. And this is one of the main problems that we have. And whether people want to believe it or not, United States is really about to go into a worse situation than the Great Depression right now. And because of this, our dollars are devaluing faster than a cat can lick his own ass.
Yeah, dang, that's one hell of a point. Now, with that said, we're talking about costs and things that especially with economy. How is rising costs and the local infrastructure problems shaping the mood in Houston? Because we already know that bread is got to be getting sky high. Hey, you look at the gas pump, you're like, oh, that's something else. And then don't let me get even started with the government shutdown, because a lot of people who pretty much need those benefits to get like their needs and much more, they're frustrated and mad as hell.
Well,
So
I understand to a point of, say, the SNAP and what's going on. I understand to a point, but the point that I understand is that those lazy females,
shoot, here you go.
single mothers that lay up, have all these kids, don't want to go to work, don't want to go to school, are not in the community trying to volunteer and trying to get some type of skills, and they brag about it, and they get this large amount of money on their food stamp card. Okay, that's crazy. And most of them have not contributed anything in society or in the economy besides being a leech on American people. Now,
You gonna
on the
piss off
other
some
side,
people.
if you are a student with making the grade and you're working, but you don't have the skills to make more money and you're struggling, if you are of a certain age that are, our elders, if you are a military member, active duty, because technically military members get paid below minimum wage, and people assume that military members get paid a large sum of money, which is false. And I know it. And I know, Chris, simply because guess what? I was once active duty. So yeah.
Right. And then we have a great point on this. Like, it's a lot of working mothers with children that get SNAP assistance as well. So thank you for the comment. So you got to take that in consideration with that. But I will.
Now I don't disagree with what the individual stated. I
Okay.
said earlier, single mothers
Who don't
who
really?
don't do nothing but sit on their ass and have kids and want the government to be their husband.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. Now, the working mothers, I respect because they busting their ass and trying to get things done. Now,
Of
the other
course.
ones is pretty much like sitting in their tail because my mother did her own thing, pretty much getting in the raise. So I have, of course, respect for that. But
Now
it's the lazy ones that get on our nerves.
you're right. And now let me bring this point out because I did a little bit of
What you about to pull now?
I did a little bit of research, right?
Oh shit!
And I'm gonna try to see if I can find that research. But most people that are on SNAP are mostly white
White.
Americans. And so they try to change the narrative to make it seem like it's all black folks that are on SNAP. But what people don't understand, if they really look at history, right? When the Great Depression happened, back then it was hard for blacks to try to get a bank account. So what do great grandma used to do? They used to have the money and put it where? Up under the bed, right?
That's that old school way of saving.
When the Great Depression happened, who was freaking out? It was white American. Who was committing suicide? White American. Who saved white America? Black folks. Because the great grandma, our ancestor, took that cash, was buying things to get everything generated in America to get it back on its feet. And in fact, if you look at how Cadillac, the company that created Cadillac, and they were selling it, they were going bankrupt. And so because they were going bankrupt, guess who saved them from going bankrupt? Black people, because black folks was the ones that was paying and buying Cadillacs. So it shows how we as a people have the strength and the power financially to keep this country going and running. But the thing about it is we also need to come together and realize that is our advantage to the point where let's use it where we don't spend our money and make people in office step up and do what needs to be done because it is on our shoulders that white America is that we're carrying, in other words, to keep this country flowing.
And I pull this up because we use AI and all different things, and I got textbooks too. But to pull this up, be quick. From Co-Pilot, the largest ethnic group are receiving SNAP benefits is white, accounting the 35.4 of its total recipients. So, definitely when it has a statistic, I wish I had my other textbook too, because I love my college textbooks that brought this up because it blew people's mind, and that's why I like looking and diving in things myself. Because when we are so used to social media and mainstream news networks showcasing and just not kind of checking where they got their sources of information, where we just go and roll with it and just take it as fact when it actually can be some false information with that. And then I'll show these couple comments too. It's we're the lazy ones. And then also, this is another great point. At one point, the benefits of the week was founded by the Black Panthers to help Black families, and government took that. Yeah, Black Panthers definitely got screwed over. I can do a whole episode about that.
Now I got something about that, and I'm glad that this, Ebony, I'm glad you brought this up.
And she agreed.
With this situation, if you notice the pattern, and everything in life, there's a pattern if you really closely pay attention to. When Blacks, Americans create something, they make it seem that it's stupid, it's a waste of time, waste of money,
and steal it,
waste of resource. Then they turn around, wait a year or two,
steal it.
They steal the same idea that they criticize about, and then they want to claim it for their own.
Oh, we were the original creators. Bullshit. Bullshit. So yeah, that has definitely been going on for a good amount of time when it comes down to that. So we know there's frustration, especially with the infrastructures and the history of how we've been getting screwed. And in the Houston area, and I know like we kind of venture out into some different things more globally, but like why is crime and public safety remain top issues for residents in the Houston area? And then how you think they should vote to probably resolve or move forward with some kind of progress with this being election day?
How is crime? What was that?
Why is crime and public safety remain a top issue for many residents? And this is I'm talking specifically in the Houston area because we know it's a election day, and people are trying to vote to change some things up.
Well, there's
But
poverty. If there's poverty, there's going to be crime. If there's people that lack the resources or the education or a trade, there's going to be crime for the most part. Now, I'm not speaking about the crime where somebody's not wrapped too tight and they just feel like out the blue, they just want to go murder, kill, or steal, or whatever, in within that neighborhood. But I'm speaking in regards to if our community is even motivated, taught, trained, restructured, and stop depending upon an apology from white America, because we'll never get it. We'll never get it. That's like the devil.
that's dead.
It, and I'm gonna put it this way: do you think God sits there and wait for the devil to apologize for what he did that got him kicked out? No, he doesn't. So the same thing is what we need to do. Stop waiting for white America to apologize for something they know they did wrong, but they won't admit it. But their actions reflect their guilt, not just what they're doing now, what they've done in the past from their ancestors. And that's just we need to just cut it out completely and stop expecting. So in other words, I've always stated this: expect the unexpected.
Unexpected.
Expect the worst. And when you expect the worst, you're never disappointed. And you see things for what it is, and you always prepare for what's coming to you. The problem in Black America, when it comes to the crime and public safety, is we have to change our way of thinking. Stop having this Willie Lynch mentality where we
Oh,
go
we're
against
going
each
deep now.
other and old against young, young against old, daughters against mothers, and vice versa, fathers against sons.
Let me say
We
something on
need to
that.
stop this.
I
We
really wish that we break that chain because we become our own worst enemy than anybody else. Like I wish that we have more of our business working together. Where I wish we had more. Now, of course, there is a small change in some people out there making the steps, but I don't. And we are making steps, but it's not enough. I want to see something as a majority of that happens because let's not. Let's be honest. When it comes to other people that come, especially, I mean, we see it all the time in Houston. People from
Mhm.
other countries come here, and then all of a sudden, their families are investing in each other's businesses and they go from the most poverty and struggling family to like now all of a sudden you see them buying up apartments, suites, and everything else and much more. And I wish we would break this habit or like the cycle of looking at each other in a negative way because we need to see the bigger picture and put those things aside and so that we can actually start making an actual change because the media does enough damage already on a daily basis.
And
The
I agree.
promotions and marketing, I mean, we it's to the point, and we got to be honest, when they look at us, they already suspect something is wrong or we have some kind of criminal record, especially if you're dressed a certain way and don't even have a casual conversation to get to know the person. So that's another thing that ties into stereotypes and what's been marketing through a lot of mainstream, and which I also believe leads to even more frustration with the crime issues because there's too many incidents in the past where we've seen a brother pretty much mind his own business going to the store, but because he has a hoodie, some kind of urban attire, has been accused of being a criminal without even having a chance to say anything or
Now,
wrongly accused.
now with that part, the flip side is what I have an issue with. If you know your damn child is bad as hell,
Okay, yeah, that we being real.
and you know your child stays and keeps in trouble, stop getting on the goddamn news and trying to say he was a good child or she was a good child, knowing damn well that that child was nothing like what you described.
Ooh, accountability. Ooh, a lot of people are not gonna like
Because
that.
now you are the individuals making these false statements, try to make it seem like, and the way white American looks, they see one and they automatically think everyone is like that for the most part. Not all white Americans, but majority of the white Americans have that mindset. They may not say it, but it's already in their head on how they view a group or a race of people.
Hey, people.
And you know your damn child is bad as hell. You know your damn child need to be locked up, put up, and thrown away the key.
Dookie, beep
And you
beep,
know good and well if your
and
child is
harder than
acting
much
like
more.
that, you know damn well
The
your
badass
child was not
kids.
structured, was not disciplined, and so therefore they don't respect you. They don't know themselves. They don't even
Shit.
respect themselves. So then, if they don't respect you in the home, they damn sure ain't gonna respect anyone outside the home. And this is the reason why. So I'm speaking on this part in regards to that matter, because there's a other side to that. And that's why I had to bring that up, because Black Americans always want to stay on one side of the fence and not want to talk about the other side that they keep screwing up and doing, and then want to wonder why things are not happening. Well, fool, won't you just be honest with yourself and see things for what it is?
This really irritated you, and we are talking about accountability. I do see that trend at times. We fall quick to the victim, accept, and then not take a look at the actual true actions, which will lead up to the result or the problem of creating the whole issue in the beginning.
And some of the
Now,
kids pick up the habits of the parents acting the damn fool and think the same way.
he went there,
Doesn't look
he
at
went
that.
there,
I'm just throwing that
he
out there.
went there.
So now you got an old fool teaching a
Oh,
young fool
oh
to be an
shit,
old fool
oh
while they're a
shit,
young fool.
oh shit. You better have a lot of people angry over here. Sounds alarm. All right. Now, with that said, with everything that's going on, especially what we talked about with the environment, how stereotypes and much more influence the market space through major newscasts and even more, do you think this is like a leading contributor to like why the voting polls is not as significant as it was in the past? It's like you have more people saying like, I'm not gonna go out there and vote now. And this is an issue that I know a lot of us try to fight, but it seems like nowadays, even in the Houston area, more people are less motivated to go out to the polls.
I'm gonna put it this way: the sins of America has finally come home for punishment. And what I'm saying is the sins of everything America has done, gone in CIA and all the other government agents, go into other foreign countries, pay and assassinate other people to have some type of influence and control to try to take their natural resources. I just heard recently that Trump threatened to go and send troops to Nigeria because of Christians in the northern part of Nigeria were being killed by the extremist Muslim. Well,
Wait, wait,
I
wait. What? What the?
yes.
What the?
So therefore, my thing is this: you're sending troops in other countries. You're giving money to other countries. You gave 20 billion. Now you, from my understanding, you plan on giving another 20 billion to Argentina. Then on top of that, you still the amount of money that you have given to the Ukraine from 1948 to the present time. You've given This country has given $315 billion to Israel. But look at our economy. Look at the people that are homeless. Look at the people that are in the streets. Then, if you look at the history, who passed the Civil Rights Act? Who passed the Voting Rights? You cannot trust the two-party system. One voted for one and one voted for the other. So who can you really trust in the government? Who has integrity? United States has never had integrity, and that's the problem. United States never had integrity. United States would never be develop any integrity. And what a lot of people fail to understand, United States is one of the youngest countries in existence in the world.
All right, so I got to pull out this before I close things out. Now, you mentioned the Argentina. I can guarantee somebody gonna be like, "What the hell is he talking about?" Well, while you were talking, I got to go ahead and pull this up. It's like, okay, he don't make that point, but I know someone's gonna be like, "Wait a minute, is this actually going on?" And this is straight from PBS.org. You have this. So, why Trump is giving Argentina a 20 billion lifeline to
And you
help
have
its failing
farmers,
economy.
farmers that are losing their land, black farmers that already been starting to lose their land, even more so, and we're losing black farmers. Now the white farmers are being affected. Now all hell is breaking loose because now it's affecting white people. All along, black folks, black Americans have been talking about it, complaining about it. But what is the response when it comes to our community? Our community, their response is, shut up. That ain't real. Be quiet. Hispanic community, most of them, not all of them, have been treating and saying this because most of the Hispanics that think like that want to be white, associate them white, but guess what's happening? Now they're getting what? ISIS is snatching them up, even if they're U.S. citizens. But now they also want the black community to come in and save them or be part of them. But yet still, you mistreat us, didn't support us, but you want us to support them. Dog don't bark like that. No way,
Make it make
no way,
sense.
no
Make it
how.
make
Does
sense.
not dog does not bark like that. I be damned.
Ooh-wee. Well, I think we rattled enough feathers, but this ain't gonna be the end of it. So we hit on a lot of different topics of the economy, the culture of Houston, but not only in Houston, different areas, history, historically, how African Americans have been stolen, basically influenced mentally in a not positive way, negative way, so basically become a victim to the point where we did have downfall for all instruction, the lower voter turnout. Have all these actions kind of built up on each other, and then we have most recently of Trump giving Argentina 20 billion. Damn, not millions. We talking about billions,
Of course.
man.
And guess what? He's spending $240 million on a damn ballroom. He's a
Oh God,
while
I knew I should have
everyone
known he's gonna pull
while
that up.
everyone right now in the government is on furlough because he cannot get his way. And if you really think about what's going on, especially in the Houston area, those that are on furlough, is this. Trump wants you to decide this. Get your SNAP benefits, and then you look at also the fact that if you get your SNAP benefits, your insurance is going to double. But when you put it, if you really break it down and look at it with some common sense and logic, let's make it clear. Say that the Democrats go ahead and say, okay, we're gonna bow down. You get your benefits, the cost of food is still high, but now not only the cost of food is high, your insurance has gone up higher.
Oh,
So now you have to decide: eat or your health, because you're not gonna be able to afford
both.
health. And if you really understand what's going on with the big beautiful bill, everything is called a reverse law. When
And
1% was helping the poor in their taxes and things of that nature, now the poor is helping the 1% wealth. So in other words, let's put it in this: the rich is now trying to keep the poor poor and take whatever money you have to keep
the
you
rest
poor
of it.
while they stay rich.
All right. So now that you said, I gotta pull this up before we close out. Now we know that, and I've been hearing this from a lot of people in the community, that there's been a couple proposed constitutional amendments. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this up so I can read them down, and then we're gonna put our voices on it, and then we're gonna close it out because this has been under a huge debate. Especially, I think I've been a bit louder on this one, but just so you can see what I am talking about, here it is right here. Put this up on the screen. All right, currently Texas voters are voting on 17 proposed constitutional amendments. So here are the key amendments. We got these different propositions. We have, I'm just gonna go 1 through 17, so I'm gonna be quick. First one, the creation of the Texas State Technical College Fund. All right. Second one, we have a ban on capital gain tax. 3, the bail reform. Number 4, the creation of the Water Infrastructure Fund. Okay. 5, tax exemption on animal feed. Then we have 6, the ban on tax security tax. 7, tax exemption on veteran spouses. I did not know about that. I know you
They are
probably have.
always attacking us veterans.
I was
And
gonna
the
say,
state and the federal always taxes. And then did you know we're only one? We're less than 1% of the U.S. population. So why screw with us when we're the ones going to be probably the last defense to protect the country? Because you got these weak baby titty sucking kids
oh,
in the
okay, he said
military.
titty sucking. All right. Ban on inheritance tax. Okay, that's interesting. Inventory and equipment tax exemption. All right. Tax exemption for homes restored by. I feel like that's going to be taken advantage. That's just me. I was reading that, but I'm going to leave that alone because I feel like that's a whole episode by itself. Because I was like, tax exemption for homes restored by. Never mind. I'm going to leave it alone. All right. School tax exemptions for the elderly or disabled homeowners. Changing the state judicial conduct commission, and then we have increased school tax exemption for home. That's interesting. Didn't expect that one. All right, let's see what else we got. Funding for dementia research and prevention, and then codifying parental rights, clarifying citizenship. Ooh, I know that's a big one. Clarifying citizenship requirements for voters and proposed tax exemption for border security infrastructure. Of course, this is Texas. I shouldn't be surprised. Number 17. We knew that was going to come up here in Texas. It's a red state. So, what are your thoughts about all these propositions?
Some of these propositions, and I'm looking at it on my other screen, and this is, I mean, some of it is okay, but the one that I have a question in, and it's always gonna be the number one, is the tax exemption for surviving spouse of veteran who died from service connected disease.
Ooh.
That's the one that gets me the most. Now, the others I can kind of deal with, but I also understand this. Those that are labeled as liberals by the Republican Party, some of their thoughts and process is so out of whack or as reality and truth.
He's he's trying to say these people delusional. Is that what you're trying to say on the slick side?
Yes. And if you think about it, both parties are delusional because both parties have blood on their damn hands, one way or the other. They're so worried about fighting and want to be right about what the issue is versus taking care of the American people. This is the problem with our government and society. And this is the reason why a lot of people don't realize. And I'm going to read this, right?
Go ahead.
The Declaration of Independence explicitly states that when a government becomes destructive of the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, if it is both the right and the duty of the people to alter or abolish it and establish a new government. And it's coming to the point where we have to decide: do we need to have a new government? And when we say a new government, in other words, the founding fathers, which was not my fathers, stated that it's okay to have a revolution. This is basically what they're saying, and this is in the Declaration of Independence.
Pretty much to keep the government accountable for their actions. Like, oh, you looking the
Exactly.
people over?
When they
Okay.
start taking rights, like what's going on now, and abusing it, and not there for the people, then they're saying dismantle it, start all over again, create a new government that will not repeat and do the same thing. And United States keep repeating the same thing over and over and making the same mistakes over and over, and no one cares. And when you do
Oh, until
care,
the shit hits the fan. And when it gets real,
the
real,
government
yeah, they do.
somehow, some way convince someone to eliminate you from the equation.
He said what he said. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. Where can they find you at?
Oh, you could always find me, the one and only, the J, the ASSIM, Jasim, on Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on the YouTube channel. But you can always catch the audio version on all podcast platforms where we're gonna be telling it like it is. Gonna be real. It's gonna be raw. Hey, if you grown, you can handle it. If you can't handle it and you get all emotional, maybe this may not be for you to listen. On different topics that affect you, that may get you to think like you should be thinking, and not the way the new slave master wants you to think.
Man, laying it how it is, how they're wrong. May hurt your feelings, but you need it. But of course, as always, it's C Holmes is always dropping another bomb and episode, hitting on the topics that you're afraid of, but we're not. We're gonna keep it live, raw, and keep it controversial, but also bring you facts so you can do some research and make you think, because it's the reason of it. We want to make you think. Make sure that you share, subscribe to the YouTube and all that and much more. And you can find me on my social medias, as you can see, the handle at @chomes_, where you can find everything. And if you want to go to the website, soulproduction.biz. But until next time, make sure you keep the word and the voice alive of the people and don't be silent. Until next time, peace.